If you notice something feeling off for you, or if you realize that you're living someone else's version of success, or that you're building someone else's version of a business, I want you to ask yourself, why? And I want you to sit with that question. Why am I doing something that doesn't light me up? Why am I building something that doesn't truly align with me? Why am I prioritizing others over myself? And sit with that for as long as it takes, because straight up, you owe it to yourself to have clarity around that. You owe it to yourself to know what you truly want, who you truly want to be. What's up, ladies, and welcome to another episode of Millionaire Girls Club podcast. I'm Jill Stanton, and I am so jazzed you hit play on this episode. Today, I want to jam on something that I have certainly struggled with, and I know some of you have struggled with as well. And that's what to do if you find yourself running a six-figure business or living a life that is a reflection of what someone else wanted for you. Now, this has shown up in my life in a few ways, truthfully. One was back in late 2017, early 2018, when Josh and I had built a multi-six-figure membership community called Screw You. And don't get me wrong, it was full of amazing humans. But once we became parents and we started feeling into that side of our life, we realized that we had built it because it was the hot thing to do at the time. And not only that, but we kept it because it was what we should do. I mean, it was making $330,000 a year. We had built a reputation around it. We had a ton of influencers and entrepreneurs you likely look up to reaching out to us for advice on community building. And on the outside, it looked like we had it all going on. But when we stepped back from it after we had Kai, we realized this isn't what we want at all. We no longer wanted our business to be built around us needing to be present and on for people all the time. In fact, that felt suffocating to us, truthfully. And so once we finally had this clarity, we closed the membership. And not just the membership, we closed everything. We closed everything that was no longer serving us. That means our free groups, our one-off courses, our 3-month coaching program. Of course, like I just said, our membership community. I mean, we wiped the slate clean. Even with our team, everything that no longer jived with who we wanted to be, we cut. And then another example of this is this brand. As I mentioned in episode 1, I've been sitting on MGC now for nearly 2 years, but I never pulled the trigger on it because I was scared. Because we had built this amazing brand with Screw the 9 to 5, and I just kept telling myself, just stick with that. You're sabotaging if you pull away from it. You're getting in your own way. Jill, what are you doing? You're making so much money. Why would you mess with this? And it wasn't until I gave myself some quiet that I realized the only sabotage here is me not pulling the trigger on MGC. Because when I finally tuned into what I wanted, when I finally gave myself the permission to admit that I wanted to create something new, that is when things really started opening up for me. Ideas started falling out of my freaking brain. Inspiration swirled around me. I was getting universe winks left, right, and center to do this. And women who were already at the 6-figure mark were telling me that they were craving something like this. And I realized in that moment that I was doing what I thought I should be doing, not what truly lit me up. Talking business basics doesn't light me up at all. And my first nudge for that was when I started hosting my mindset coaching series inside our Course Creators Bootcamp. And in that moment, I realized, oh, damn, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Not talking about why someone's lead magnet isn't converting or why their ad account got shut down. That shit zaps my spirit in such a big way. And if you notice something like that in your business or life, that's your first clue. If something feels off, or if the business you have just isn't lighting you up, or if the life you've created just doesn't feel like the one you truly want to live, I want you to sit with that, right? And I'm not talking about if business feels hard, right? That's just the price of admission for a beautiful life, truthfully. The ups and the downs, the challenges, all of that, the obstacles, that's just a part of the game. That's contrast, baby. And I'm talking about when something deep down inside feels off, something deep down feels heavy, or when you think about it, you contract in some way. That's what I'm talking about. Not the dream itself or with the inconveniences that come with chasing that dream, because that ain't going anywhere, right? In fact, that's what you sign up for when you have big dreams, right? Like you don't just sign up for just the dream itself. Instead, you sign up for the inconveniences. I want you to sign up for the inconveniences. I want you to sign up for the ups and downs, because weathering those is what will help you realize that dream. And so getting back to what I was saying, when something feels off, if you notice that coming up for you, if you notice something feeling off for you, or if you realize that you're living someone else's version of success, or that you're building someone else's version of a business, I want you to ask yourself, why? And I want you to sit with that question. Why am I doing something that doesn't light me up? Why am I building something that doesn't truly align with me? Why am I prioritizing others over myself? And sit with that for as long as it takes, because straight up, you owe it to yourself to have clarity around that. You owe it to yourself to know what you truly want, who you truly want to be, what you want to create, right? Honestly, I know that this can create a lot of resistance for people. When Josh and I were first deciding to close down the membership, we had all the freaking resistance. And it took us months to finally admit that we wanted to close Screw You, because on paper, it didn't make sense to close it. But deep down, it was the only thing that made sense to us. But most people avoid this work, admitting to themselves that what they truly want. And I think that's because once they have that clarity, they have two choices. One, stay right where they are and suffer from the pain of unalignment. Or two, take bold, courageous action to change their situation. And that's not a comfy place to be, straight up. But as you do this work, as you figure out who you want to be now that you're awake and conscious of what you want, you have to consciously create it. You have to be that person who lives that life, the person who keeps those habits, the person who thinks those upgraded thoughts, the person who creates those things, makes those offers, charges those high ticket prices, the person who creates those boundaries, and the person who honors those boundaries, right? The person who takes those risks. And I can say from firsthand experience, it does not happen instantly. It happens by making and keeping micro promises to yourself. It happens by taking micro actions that move you in the direction of where you want to go. It takes micro shifts in your thinking to upgrade your beliefs and the thoughts you think. It takes micro commitments. It takes you showing up for the life you want to live, the life you want to create, the business you want to build, the money you want to make. And even as I sit here and preach, like my body is so jittery with fear, because I'm sort of freaking scared to be striking out on my own. If you listen to my first episode, you'll know that I dealt with years of bullying, right? Over a decade of it in some of my most formative years. And so I have all the feels about putting myself out there to a group of high performing women without my safety guard that is Josh. And yet here I am, fear and all. Even with the jitters, even with the what ifs, because this work matters to me more than the fear. This work, this message matters to me more than what my subconscious brain tries to trick me into believing. This audience, you ladies matter more to me than those low vibe, level 5 thoughts that keep me safe. So it's not about transforming into a completely different human yesterday. In fact, you'll notice that as you start to release this vice grip on the when and the how it all has to happen, when you stop trying to control the outcome and you start trying to control the process, you start trying to control how you show up, the actions you take, the thoughts you think, the people you surround yourself with, the fears you face, everything will start to speed up for you. Because it's not about overcoming your biggest fears right away. It's about overcoming the small fears first and building that courage muscle. Because as you do that, you'll notice how much your courage creates confidence. And all of a sudden, you'll look around and notice just how far you've come and how fast it all happened the minute you stop focusing on the speed of it all. And that's what I'm trying to do with this podcast. Chicks, I have all the feels about this new brand. Like, what if this doesn't land? What if it's not as good as what I have with the Screw? It's scary to start all over and rebuild. What if no one attends my workshops? What if no one wants to join my MGC Connect mastermind? What if no one wants to work with me one-on-one? But I know that in order to overcome those things and step into the vision I see for myself, the one that scares the shit out of me because it's so big, I first need to overcome this small fear of hitting record and recording these episodes, because that is an action I can control. That is a part of the process I can control. And that is how I start baby stepping my way to the business and life I truly want to create. So here's a micro challenge for you. I want you to grab a piece of paper or a G-Doc or your go-to journal, whatever it is, and I want you to put on some chill vibe music, go to a quiet corner in your house or get outside, and I want you to have a crazy idea session. But what the F is a crazy idea session? It's a block of time that is dedicated to listing out all your big crazy ideas, things you would love to create, do, have, or experience as you step into the 7-figure level. The catch is you can't judge any of it. You can't stop yourself by thinking, how are you going to make that happen? You can't judge yourself by thinking, do you really need that much? Or allow thoughts like you're going to lose so much money or anything like that. If you notice any of that coming up for you, which let's keep it real, probably will, right? I want you to catch it the minute you become aware of it and say out loud, cancel. And then I want you to correct that thought and replace it with something like, it's safe for me to dream big, or everything is working out for me in all ways, always. Or I'm the type of chick who gets everything she wants. That's my go-to. That's like my jam. I say it all the time. Or what about I'm right on track? Or in this moment, I'm completely safe. And I love that specific one because it's 100% true. Because if you're feeling any feels as you start to dream big, all that is your brain tricking into the anxiety and trying to control the future, right? It's trying to predict what might go wrong because your brain doesn't like the unknown. But here's the thing. Your future is created in the unknown. So if you find yourself in this thought loop, I want you to catch it. And then I want you to notice that in that moment, you are 100% safe. You are where your feet are. And if you can get present for a minute, if you can look around and take stock of how safe you are in that moment, all the fear and anxiety will start to subside. And you can go back into your crazy idea session because you know how to catch those low vibe thoughts and cancel them now. So what do you say? Are you up for the challenge? If you're an F yes, then I want you to hit the comments of wherever you're watching this video. Or if you're listening to the podcast, hit me up in IG DMs and share one of your big crazy ideas and make it the one that scares you the most. Drop it in the comments. Or of course, like I said, hit me up on IG DMs. And if you're vibing with this episode, then please snap a pic of it, post it to your IG stories or your Facebook and tag me and share your biggest aha or holy shift moment because I love seeing what resonates with you so I can create more of it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the show on iTunes or on YouTube and turn on notifications on Instagram so you never miss another episode. Again, ladies, thank you so much for tuning in and I'll catch you next time. Peace.